Okay, welcome everyone. Today we're going to do something different. It's going to be an interactive workshop. Something that keep coming up for me is clearing space as much as I possibly can, not kind of doing things just because I did them last year or because my ancestors did them or my mom did them or I feel like I should do them. That's been a big thing for me these past few years, is taking an inventory of what I really feel called to do and how that is actually deleting things from my life so I'm more able to just be instead of do. So, for those of you, anyone who's new, if you really like this, please hit the like button and feel free to subscribe to my mailing list or the YouTube channel. And you can join our workshops. I'm actually going to aim to have one interactive workshop, at least one a month, like this, that's free to the community. And so, if we can just get started, I realized when I woke up early this morning that today is a new moon. And so, it's very synchronous to be doing this activity today. So, it's a new moon. We're setting a new way of being for this coming month and hopefully on from there. And so, this is really divine. This is the energies are really supporting this today. So, creating space is we're going to go through each layer of our body and we're going to start with the physical body and I'm going to walk you through this. And essentially, starting last year, I think it was actually last fall. So, it's been a little bit over a year. My spirit team started telling me to start clearing space in the home first, like just, and I do have to say, I'm not 100% complete with this. I worked really, really hard for a month, and so it's an ongoing process. So be patient with yourself. But they started giving me downloads about the importance of clearing space everywhere, physically, emotionally, energetically. And at the time, I really didn't know why, but now it's coming all together. And now we have all of these energies descending on Earth, especially the Three Eye Atlas that's going to be closest to us around the winter solstice, December 19th, 20th, 21st, somewhere in that time frame, delivering all these plasmic codes of light, all these remembrances. However, if our vessels, and if we imagine, I always say, if we imagine our energy extends feet out from us and we imagine it in layers, and those layers are full, then there's no way to receive all of this. So, the goal of today's mini workshop, and it's probably the actual interactive part of this recording, is probably going to take no more than 25 to 30 minutes. And then I'm going to shut the recording off, and then the participants on can come on and share. So, anyway, we're going to clear the vessel out so that we can receive these codes. So, we're going to start with the physical body. Ultimately, if we think of this in terms, only in terms of energy, what these intentions are doing, and then the follow through after that is simply raising vibration. It's just raising your vibration because it's allowing more light to come into your field. And that is how we interact with the universe. And that is how we raise our consciousness, activate our heart, and continue on with unity consciousness. So, okay, this time of year is always kind of the trickiest to navigate because it's where all the things come in, the holiday things. First, we start with Thanksgiving. Already, we've gotten bombarded with emails for shopping, and it's not even Thanksgiving. So that it really, they've extended this busy, hectic, chaotic season so much more elongated than what it ever used to be. I remember when I was little, especially in like the 80s, and it would start after Thanksgiving or it would start like those 2 weeks. You would just go to the store and do it and be done. And now it's like a whole season, and it's can be very overwhelming, especially to anyone on the spiritual path, anyone who's super sensitive to energies, especially the empaths. So, I want to just spend this time to just reprogram this time of year and do the opposite. So instead of participate in the busy hecticness, maybe do what you need to do or what really brings you love and joy. And there's also going to be things you're going to have to do. I totally understand that, but release what you don't. Okay. So we want to be the creator of our own peace and not just the bystander. That's what I wrote today. So it's constantly checking in with yourself. So we're going to start with the physical body for this journaling exercise. And I told the group before I started recording, I'm not going to play music during, I'll set a timer, but I'm going to use the chat for guidance for the people that are on here. If they're done early, we'll move on. And if they need extra time, we're going to wait. And so if you're watching this on the replay, you can just fast forward these blank spaces. I personally don't prefer to listen to music when I'm writing. I need full silence. So I'm not going to share music. I'm just going to leave it quiet. So for the physical body, this is the easiest one I thought to start with because there's two main components. One is your actual physical space, your home. It could be an office that you work in. Mostly, let's just maybe work on our home today. But it's also our physical body, our physical vessel. So, some things when I was writing the notes that came to mind for this, the home, it started last year with the words of like declutter and simplify. And I went room by room. And this was very difficult because I have two children, and it was the first time they're sort of in a transition in that middle school age. So it was the first time I kind of went through and thought, okay, the toys can go now. We don't really need those. But this is a great time of year. So I'm just going to give some ideas before I set the timer that to spark your intuition and your inner knowing. I establish something where every year at this time of year, I have the kids go through and give me a third of their belongings to donate to Goodwill and to families that don't have means of buying Christmas presents. So their toys, their stuffed animals, books, anything like that. And we clear all that out ahead of Christmas, knowing relatives are going to also be getting them gifts. And so that I'm not adding to the house's stuff. It's basically in hopes equaling out or actually decreasing. My goal from now on is decreasing. This physical journal prompt is going to greatly vary depending on the age and stage of your life. So it's going to look very different for everyone, depending on the fact if you're single, married, you have kids, you all of that's going to factor. So there are no right or wrong answers here at all. Just really get in touch with your intuition on this. I then began to clean out my closets and I started noticing I was feeling better. My closet, I had just started dumping things after my divorce in there. I had moved into this house and I didn't know what to do with them and I was overwhelmed. But when I finally had the space last year, I just cleaned the whole thing out. Another idea I start doing at Christmas is gifting experiences to the kids and not as much items, not as much things, so that we don't have as much things around the house. So those are some house and space ideas, but this can be anything. Now, for the body, the vessel clearing to receive the codes. For me, this has been an ongoing journey for the past few years. There, some ideas here are, okay, okay, bye, bye, Sarah. I'm so sorry you have to leave. No problem. I'll send the replay out. For the body, some things that are really great, I found helpful to increase connection to spirit, intermittent fasting. I do. Sometimes I only schedule my meals between, or I'll wait to eat until like 10 or 11, but I'll schedule my meals between 10 and 4, or I won't eat dinner past like 5 p.m. I'm moving that up now that it's dark as much as possible. And if you feel called to do some sort of cleanse, wonderful between now and the holiday time. Some people do like a water cleanse. I've never done that before. And, or it could simply be eliminating one anti-inflammatory food group and just noticing the impact that that has actually on your connection to spirit and your energetic field. So the anti or the inflammatory groups, dairy is one of the bigger ones, sugar, alcohol. gluten and caffeine. Now, I love my coffee in the morning, so I have not ever eliminated that. I haven't experimented with that. But the other groups, like maybe try eliminating one. If that's like way too overwhelming, another idea would be focusing maybe one meal a day on only eating something that has touched the sun. So whole foods or things that aren't processed. And so these are just ideas. So feel free to come up with anything where that calls to you to clean out the physical body. And I'm gonna be quiet now and start the timer for 5 minutes. Okay, does anyone need more time? Of course, the neighborhood landscapers are here right now, blowing leaves. Oh my goodness, I hope it's not coming through the audio to all of you. Okay. If anyone needs more time, if you can put it in the chat now, otherwise we're going to move on. Okay, so let's go on to the energetic body. This is the best time of year to really get a feel for what is draining you versus what is lighting you up. So that's how I always view my energy. And that's the system I use to basically take an inventory of things I'm should be doing or I want to be doing. And so I'm going to briefly go through a couple of ideas here, which is several years ago, I would do all my holiday cards to all the extended relatives and especially with little kids. And a few years ago, I was like, why am I doing this? This is becoming a chore. And everyone that I know and love can see the kids, when we get together. And so I stopped doing that and I have never missed it and I've never gone back. And this again is going to vary from people to people. Some people absolutely love to do this every year. I'm just giving you examples from me to spark yours. How many gatherings? So I just have some questions to think about before I'll start the 5 minute timer. How many gatherings do you have the energy for? Do you have to say yes to everything? What can you say no to? Because again, the idea is what can we delete from our lives in order to make space to just be and to hear our inner voice. If you do have to go somewhere, how late do you have to be there? When would you love to come home and like set the plan ahead of time? How many traditions will you continue, including food and including cooking? Do you have to, like the seven fishes comes to mind for Christmas Eve, for anyone that celebrates that Italian tradition? Do you have to do all seven? Is it stressing you out? Have you taken that over from someone and you would only like to do two? Yes, totally okay. You have permission to completely rewrite your life however you feel called to. Um, could you go buy something at the store if you don't want to bake something from scratch? Um, And then it also goes into like how much distraction is happening at this time of year. Are you being distracted by lots of TV, lots of movies, lots of to-do lists that you didn't create? Or this is this time of year and it happens in May as well. There's a lot of school things going on for any parents out there and even grandparents that help out. When the sign up sheets come out, can you just let it sit there for 24 hours, 48 hours, and then go in and volunteer and do something and give the other people a chance to volunteer? I recently did that and it was, and I had to consciously do that. So these are all conscious activities of releasing because last year I just would have gone in and filled in as much as I possibly could have. And this year I just stopped and I said, I don't have the capacity. I'm getting over an injury and I'm trying to delete. So I just waited and then I just volunteered my time when I was able to. If you're traveling, how will you find alone time to recharge your energy? If you are going to be in a household with a lot of people and and you're very empathic and you feel everyone's energies, and what are you going to do to help recharge so that you can find your own inner peace? Do you have to join every activity? Can you take a drive? Can you take a walk? Um, maybe this is about making a list of the things you think you have to do for the holidays and just taking off 3 for this year. So those are some ideas. I hope that makes sense. And I'm going to start the timer. Okay, if anyone needs more time, put it in the chat. Something that was coming up for me while we were in the silence was also this might be conversations that are going to come about with immediate or extended family members or friends of some of these changes you may want to implement. You might feel like, oh gosh, someone's gonna not like that, or my kids aren't gonna like it, or my mom isn't gonna like it. And so I just invite you to really just, if it feels right to you, still just have that very honest conversation and say this is where I'm at, and maybe it's even like I'm not doing gifts this year. Maybe this is money feels tight this year, and that added stress of spending the money, that's adding too much for your field. And the deletion would be not spending money. And so putting like a huge limit on or something. And just if that is what feels right to you, by all means, go for it. There's no rules when it comes to any of this. Okay, the next body we're going to move through the emotional body. This was really, really tough for me. And when I was pr- getting writing some notes down yesterday, I could not think of anything. I was like, I don't understand how to delete from the emotional body. And I thought, well, just crying, okay, that gets rid of emotion. And but that's everyone can't have this. That's not sounding very practical. We're not going to schedule in crying every day, even though, maybe that would be helpful. So this morning I woke up super early and I thought again, I just don't know how to delete from the emotional and make space in the emotional body. And so I was meditating, and then the guys did come in, and it was really good. It was uh, being guided towards making space through feeling, and how sometimes, especially at this time of year, we choose to numb or push down or shove aside. And that creates more density in our field. That clogs up our emotional channel and eventually actually causes physical illness. So, how this exercise is going to go for these next few minutes, some ideas they were coming up with for me were some things like, how are you going to feel? So it's actually staying present with your emotions throughout this very chaotic, busy time when you say, oh, I don't have time to feel that, or this is going to be very stressful. So I'm definitely bringing, my bottle of wine, and I'm going to have to numb out. And all of that just adds more gunk in the field. So some of the questions would be, how am I not going to be numb this season? How am I going to actually take the time to feel? Can this include some journaling? Can this include maybe even like speaking out loud at night, or maybe a nightly like emotional dump or something, and maybe a screaming in the woods if something is super stressful. And of course, if you're having a beautiful, joyous time, feeling those high emotions, those beautiful high vibrations, that's only going to lighten and clear your field. So all the laughing, so that could even be on the list, like laughing hysterically. And then a part kind of two to this for all the empaths out there is just an awareness of, is this emotion mine? Or am I taking this on from someone else? And doing that emotional inventory as you become aware of it and you're around multiple people, and you're feeling really anxious or you're feeling super sad, but it's like you didn't, oh, that mine, or is that, my, you know, brother, sister, child's, and what can I do to just bring it back to me? Call back my own energy and my own emotions. Okay, and I'm going to set the timer. Hope that makes sense. I'm only going to do this one maybe for 4 minutes just so we can get onto the spiritual body. If anyone needs more time on this one, let me know in the chat. Okay, and of course you can just pause this on the recording, but I'm gonna go on to the spiritual body so that we have enough time. So the spiritual body is the vessel that we have, or the connection that we have to our higher self, to our spirit guides, to the galactic teams, the wisdom of the earth, spirits, the elements, all of that. And we have to be so clear and quiet and silent to hear all of this and to really take it in and be aware. So a lot of this is establishing clear intentions as well. And our bodies are the link between the galactic and the earth. It's like a conductor, a conduit. And so some of this for me, how do I rather than delete for this body, it's more how do I just be quiet and calm and sort of add spiritual practices to start to have that link become clearer as I'm deleting in the other bodies, like making room in the other. So for me, I'm really trying to do daily walks outside. I'm trying to really get into the sun as much as I can, giving thanks to the sun, consciously receiving the sun's codes. I really like to wake up in time for the sunrise, and I like to kind of just shut things down for the sunset so that my regular circadian rhythm is syncing up. And that's going to vary, geographically wherever you're located. Could you dedicate 15 minutes of quiet each day where it is not even a meditation? It is just you're being quiet. Maybe you could dedicate 5, but maybe you could put all devices away and just lay on a bed or lay on a couch, or maybe put noise canceling headphones on if you can't find a quiet time any other way, and just be. Just do that reset and nourish your spirit in that way. Could you unplug all of your bedroom electronics? I just recently did that and my sleep has been so much better. I got room darkening blinds so that my room is like a cocoon or a womb, and I shut off. I don't really watch TV in there anymore at night. I When I watch TV it's usually downstairs. So I just flipped off the oh my God, I'm drawing a blank on the plug thing. I don't know the name. The Where you plug all the things in. Anyway, I shut that off, so I have zero lights anywhere in my room. I do have, for safety reasons, like a motion red light thing. When I walk by it, it will come on so that I don't kill myself. But having those electronics and my phone away from my bed has really enhanced my reset, my recharge, and that's like a really good spiritual practice that I would recommend. Can you nap? Can you dedicate a time every single day to 5 minutes of meditation that's not a guided meditation? Maybe 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes, maybe work up, but can you have a practice of a time every single day? Especially if you're going to be busy, maybe it's first thing in the morning. Maybe that really does not go well with your schedule. Maybe it's when you go to bed at night where you're just focusing on quieting your mind, quieting your thoughts, calling in some love, placing your hand on your heart, anything like that. Maybe setting up a schedule like that. Setting up an altar that's very, very simple with something that you're really, really focused in on right now. And so every day you're just paying a little bit of energy and attention to it. That's a really great spiritual way to increase that channel. Intentions and mirror gazing, where you send yourself love and you really feel it from that heart center. And maybe it's going to start out in your mind center, but then it's eventually going to radiate from the heart. All of those are maybe things that came to my mind, but you'll come up with your own, and I'll start the timer. If anyone needs more time, put it in the chat. Otherwise, I am going to finish up. Move on. Okay. So I wanted to end with the mental body because we're not going to journal on that. I'm going to just offer a practice that I read about this week that has been so extremely helpful because our mental bodies are very much linked to our ego, which wants to take over and should not be in charge. Our heart should be in charge. So the mental body is all of the thoughts and all of the stories and all of the commentary and everything. And I read this channeling from Thoth, who was an ascended master out of Atlantis and the guardian of, I guess, the Emerald Tablets. And this, there was so much practical wisdom, but this one thing, I thought, I'm going to start doing that. So I'm just going to leave you with this. And then I want to circle back to this for our December workshop. I think it's going to be related to the mental body and the stories and the commentary that are going on. And I think that might be very helpful leading into holiday season, especially with family visits and that kind of thing, friends and parties and stuff like that. The practical wisdom. So this is going to be my invitation from now to practice from now until we meet again in December is just to give a one word acknowledgement to the thoughts when they come in, such as, oh, remembering or future. Like if you're thinking, if your anxiety is rooted in the future, like what if this happens? It's just a one word label, future, just to bring you back to now and get the cycle to stop. Drama, like, oh, maybe I'm creating something that really doesn't need to be created right now. So just like labeling a one word simple thing. Like a lot of people I've noticed around me are very their thoughts a lot of times go to the past, actually, in the past, what happened in the past, and how that's still continuing and stuff. So when you find even stuff like that coming in, maybe like past or, you know, remembering or something like just to kind of end that loop. So one word, oh, ooh, a really big one. I'm sorry, I just thought of this. And I've been doing this too. Like I'll be thinking of something and I'm like, oh no, it's a little judging, just one word labeled, judging. Okay, stop that. Coming back to the present now. So we're just going to start in these next few weeks becoming aware of what we're thinking about and if they are helpful to our love and our light inside of us, or if they are even about us. Maybe they're even about a lot of people, other people, the time. So even just labeling that others or something like that just brings us back to the present and starts to get us into that cycle of self and of neutrality. This is a key to neutrality, which is what we're all being called to develop right now here. So that if anyone's watching this and wants to join live, please go to the website. I am Lisa Klein, KLINE.com. Join that webinar section in the community and we can join live. But I'm going to stop the recording now and then everyone can stay on and share if you want to. So I'm just trying to find the stop record button because they move everything. Um, okay, here it is. In Zoom, every week, there are different locations.